Pyro is deemed an offensive class by Valve, but truly, Pyro can do everything in one way or another. With plenty of playstyles and weapons, the way the class plays and its arsenal has been the subject of controversy during the game's lifespan and still continues to linger like a fart. With the recent Pyro update, the amount of people playing Pyro has subsequently increased, and many have been quick to draw to the Pyro is OP statement. What are Pyro's playstyles and roles? Is the class OP, and if so, how do we actually counter the class? Pyro has one of the largest options to choose from in terms of playstyles, though typically you see the classic MW1. The main concept of a Pyro is to burn things, airblast things, and shoot people with your secondary, and most don't stray away from this. But in the past, the majority of Pyros would use the puff and sting technique, until it was nerfed, and there are other less used styles like the Pyro and the Pyro Shark. Roles don't really matter in this aspect of play, as they just wander around looking for anyone and charge straight at them. Playing Pyro can, on the other hand, be very hard on the mind to the average player, as they have to think of many things like projectiles, spies, and lighting arrows, which for some can be overwhelming and daunting at times. A problem with Pyro is that players will tend to show anger and frustration towards you, no matter what you do as Pyro, using any playstyle or weapon, not only your enemy but your team as well.
Why did you extinguish me, you worthless player?
Pyro
Random crits are fair and
Puff and
balanced
Sting's
breakfast.
so dead.
I swear this guy's only using
I
a
bet you play this class because
Who
you
even
can't
uses
aim.
the extinguisher anymore?
What? Are you guys joking? Like, what about competitive?
In Highlander, the Pyro is considered a support class rather than an offensive class, the main job being to protect the medic, as well as mainly airblasting Ubers, spy checking, protecting the sentry gun, and sometimes helping out the flank when needed. Unlike casual, Pyros position themselves around a group of teammates known as the Combo, which consists of Heavy, Medic, and Demo Man. Pyro is rarely seen in sixes, and is commonly used when defending the last point, while the other team has an Uber advantage, where similarly the Pyro neutralises the enemy team's Uber and projectile spam from the soldier and demo, which can give the team enough time to build Uber. The reason Pyro is rarely used is because of the lack of mobility and damage output, but due to the Pyro Inferno update, there is more chance that we might see Pyro being played with a thermal thruster, providing more mobility than just a detonator, and the gas passer being able to hold choke points. Pyro is the lowest range class available. Its mobility, like previously mentioned, is lackluster compared to other classes like Scout, Soldier, or Demo. Health is also rather low, and with the Pyro player often being away from their team on their own, the Pyro will be easily picked off before coming close to killing the enemy. The main reason people call Pyro OP is because it can easily get a lot of DPS out in a close range, especially if people stand in lingering flame spots, as well as airblast and afterburn. So obviously if you get close to him, there's a good chance that you will die, which could be due to a lack of game sense or poor positioning. In general, you want to stay away from the edges of corner, as a Pyro could easily come around the corner and melt you fast, and if you do happen to be on a map with water, use that to your advantage to extinguish yourself and stop the Pyro from igniting you. A lot of Pyros will be around the cart area, as it can be hard for them to flank and to push, so make sure not to overextend either, and Pyros are generally weak to bullets. As Scout, you're the hard counter to Pyro. You have more mobility and do more damage, being able to kill most classes including Pyro in 2 meat shots. You also have a lot of support weapons like the Mad Milk, Pretty Boy's pocket pistol, and Bonk to help you with afterburn, and pistols can come in handy as you can get out of his range and do significant damage. Soldier usually has either a shotgun, which is non-reflectable, or gunboats, which lets him reach areas that the Pyro cannot get to, or rain down rockets from mid-air, which are difficult to reflect back at the soldier. You can also try and predict where the Pyro will reflect and use an irregular shooting scheme to throw him off. If you really need help, equip the conch. As Pyro, if you can flank behind an enemy Pyro, you've basically automatically won. In a head-to-head fight, it's about outmaneuvering and outdamaging. If they get too close, air blast them away and pull out your shotgun or retreat. Demo men need to consider that the base, primary and secondary weapons are reflectable, but once reflected can still do damage to the Pyro. Keep the Pyro at range with sticky bombs on the floor, and also put them near corners when you go past them or are coming to one in case a Pyro appears. Shields also provide fire resistance, so you can use that to keep you alive or also retreat. Heavy is also a hard counter to Pyro, as he is also a close range class which can shred Pyros before they reach him, but are a target to being flanked, as by the time you start to rev up you'll be dead. Stay situationally aware. On his own, the engineer is easily dead, but the sentry gun can help you survive as Pyros aren't suited to take out nests on their own, so stay near your gun and fire a shotgun or pistol at the Pyro. The only way you're realistically going to die is if the Pyro reflects the sentry rockets at you, supposing if your sentry is at level 3. As a medic, you shouldn't be alone as your teammates can protect you. In the case you do run into a Pyro, you do run faster than him, so you can run away as well as having a natural health regeneration. The Bloodsorger can also combat Afterburn, and the Crusader's crossbow does a lot of damage and is very hard to reflect due to the speed of the projectile, so you might be able to kill the Pyro. If a Pyro is out in the open, a sniper can easily eliminate the Pyro, but if they get too close it's game over. Remember that you can extinguish yourself with Girati, and make sure you know where the Pyro is at all times. Pyros can often mess up your aim with flinching, often caused by flares. Again, use Girati or the Darwin's Danger Shield to remove this effect. Pyro is the hard counter to Spy, but it doesn't mean that you can't kill them. They are still able to be backstabbed, and weapons like the Dead Ringer and Spicicle help to survive the flames. If you're able to get into a long mid-range, shoot him with a revolver, as it does a surprising amount of damage, and is more accurate than the shotgun. So for do's and don'ts, you want to ambush from around corners, making sure that you keep your flamethrower out of the sight too, so that they won't know you're around the corner. Use air blast to extinguish burning teammates and also to keep rockets and other projectiles away. Make sure to spy check regularly, as your team will complain about that if you don't. Air blast any enemy Demo Knights away, because once you remove their charge they're basically dead. Air blast away enemy sticky bombs so you can defend your sentry and teammates. And for don'ts, don't charge at a sentry nest or spam up heavies, because you're just going to die straight away. And don't run at enemies without support, because again, you'll just die. Public service announcement. If you're waiting for a health kit and a teammate on fire comes along to get the kit, air blast the burning player as you'll get 50 HP, and you'll allow your teammate to get the health they ever so need.
Somebody touch my spaghetti!